Welcome back, everyone. Open Line. We're here with Mayor David Briley. He's taking calls. We have a bunch of calls. We have only a few minutes left in this segment, so try and keep your questions short. We'll just go right to it. Let's go to Dorothy. Hello, Dorothy.
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Okay. I want to ask Mayor Briley. Somebody made a rule that the children could call and have the parents arrested for discipline now. And discipline starts in the home. And I think we wouldn't have as much crime as we got now if people could discipline their children.
Okay.
Because you see what has happened.
You have concerns about what's happening and questions about
yes.
parental...
And another thing, I want to say this.
Okay.
About the school board. I don't know how long Dr. Joseph been here, but they want to take his teaching license. When the school board, as we know it, had a problem before Dr. Joseph got here.
Okay. All right. What do you want to respond to all that?
Well, I'm a strong believer that we need to empower our families to be successful, and discipline changes from era to era about what that means. But finding out getting more resources to families so that their kids are in a position to excel in school, I think, is critically important. I remember when I was at Glendale Elementary a long time ago, and looking out the window, seeing one of the teachers swatting young boys on the rear as they came by with a paddle. I think people have sort of moved away from that sense of what it means to discipline their children. Thankfully, I would say, but I certainly agree that we got to figure out a way to make sure that families are in a position, both financially and from a housing standpoint, and having good resources at school to make sure their kids are persistent and disciplined and focused on being successful.
All right, let's go to Michael. Hello, Michael. Are you there, Michael? Go right ahead.
Yes, I'd like to know, why is it that, this is affordable?
All right, turn down your TV. Everyone needs to turn down their TV. But go ahead, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll come back to you, Michael. All right, let's. All right, go ahead. What's your question?
This is affordable housing in Nashville, but you have more people moving outside the limits,
So he's saying there's not enough affordable housing. People are having to move outside the limits.
Sure.
What about that?
That's true. We know that is the case, that the rising cost of housing is being one way that folks are dealing with that is by moving outside Davidson County. And that's why we focused on this $750 million program over the next decade to find a way to create more housing stock in Nashville that's affordable for folks who are working for a living in Nashville, whether or not it's somebody working a minimum wage job or more. And we think that by adding all of these units, it will help us in that regard. Another big part of the Under One Roof 2029 program is that we have many housing developments here that are owned by the city that were built in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, and they are all high poverty areas. And we know that if you're coming from a family in poverty, you have a better chance of succeeding if you live in a mixed income neighborhood. So that is the $350 million part of it is really going to go a long way towards making places like Casey and Edge Hill mixed income, which we know for the folks who are living there in poverty, it gives them a better chance to succeed in the long run. And I think the city's going to look back in a decade and see that was a really transformative endeavor, well worth the money, lifting up people out of poverty and creating great neighborhoods in our community.
Let's see if we can take one more call. Monica, can you go quickly? Monica, are you there?
I am.
All right, go right ahead.
Good evening, Mayor. I don't live in Nashville. I live in upstate New York, and I was wondering if you could do anything to look into my son's missing person case in your city. Ever since Tennessee took the case in 2017, my family has been pretty much in the dark. And I wondered if there was anything that you could do personally to help my family out.
Sure. I would ask you for your name and number so I could call you back, but I think it's probably better for you to do this. Just call the office in the morning, 862-6000. Explain that you called into OpenLine last night and what the issue was. And if I can't talk to you directly, we'll have our criminal justice and safety advisor get with you so that he can look into the circumstances of your son's disappearance, which I'm very sad to hear about tonight. And we'll do what we can to try and help you get information from Nashville.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back right after this.